Welcome back to the channel. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go over some of the framework of capitalism and just make a reminder of what's the current state and what's going on. So the main fundamental points of capitalism is you need to be exceptional or lucky or rare. Rare in a way where there's limited spots to becoming successful at the game, right? And the game will feed you a lot if you are just one of the few. It's always been a game of one of the few. Once you become one of those few in any way, it might be because you're lucky, it might be because you're talented, it might be because of you're skillful, or you're knowledgeable, any of the reasons. Usually, definitely, if I win, 100 people will lose. If I win extremely, 1,000 people will lose. If I win extremely, 10,000 people will lose. So understanding this fundamental is one step to understanding what you should be doing in your own life. The current state, current climate is a lot of the innovation that is being done is already being done or is being exploited with more resources than the general person would have. So the people that are already powerful, which is a lot of people currently compared to in the past 50 years ago, very few people had a lot of power. As time went on, more and more people became millionaires. More and more people had access to resources. More and more people became powerful. That's for sure. That's what happened. So as a result, what's happened is a lot of people have resources now. A lot of people compared to the past. That means that you would think there is more stability, but there is actually less stability because the gap is widening between the rich, the powerful, the ones that have resources, and the ones that have little resources. That's basically the middle class or the poor. The middle class is definitely disappearing, 100%. Worldwide, some countries already disappeared, some countries are a mist of disappearing. That's usually how it is for the world currently. What this means is there's still a lot of rich people, a lot, as in the quantity is high, but there is obviously way more poor people and way more people that were middle class that are becoming poor now. So when that happens is the scale is, let's say, 10% are rich, 90% are poor. There is no middle, right? That's kind of the route that we're going in. So that means that when new innovations happen, there's not a middle class to have access to resources in order to make innovations or make a new business, make a new idea, project, solving problems. When that happens, there's a lot of poor people that don't have access to resources. You need access to resources in order to make changes, right, into this world. Maybe they're going to be mistakes, maybe they're going to be correct decisions. But it's a game of chance, right? And some people more lucky, some people less lucky, some people more knowledgeable, some people less knowledgeable. The point is you definitely need resources, definitely. Some people need more resources for their business, some people need less. But overall, everybody would need resources. So as a result, less and less people are having access to resources now. And in the near future, it's going to be significantly worse. That means less people can become rich. Less people can be relevant. less people can be successful in the game, in the business of capitalism, the exchange. Less people are going to be able to live a comfortable life. Less people are going to be able to take on risks, definitely. And as a result, you're going to have a bunch of people that are unhappy and feel unfairly, like, judged and not even the word judged, but unfairly treated, in their current life. And they might be 20 years old, they might be 30, 50, they might be a millennial that feels like they've been cheated on because they worked very hard in the system. Maybe they worked for 15, 20 years. I'm talking in the future. They worked for 20 years, 30 years, and they feel like they got nothing to show for it. That's pretty much how it's going. That is how it works. That hard work doesn't equal, obviously not for a long time, it doesn't equal success. And the main point I was making from the start was few people it's always the few that become successful, that have an easier life, that is able to buy whatever food that they want to buy whatever resources that they want to buy whatever mansion that they want to buy, maybe a yacht, maybe an island, maybe 50 TVs, why not? It just doesn't matter. You can have all the resources you want. One person. I can be one person, I've got a lot of money, I can get 50 cars if I want to. So instead of those 50 cars going to 5 different people, 10 different people, it goes to one person. And that's the current climate, and that's how it's going to be in the near future as well. More so. So the few is going to have the many. Why is it extremely bad now compared to before? Before, the resources were more evenly spread, So the middle class had quite a few things that is considered luxury. Now it's not that way. And in the near future, it's not going to be that way either. So we're going to need to consider this in our lives, each of our lives. More so the younger generation, and what they choose to do is going to be vital to their own survival. It's not even just luxury. It's mostly you to survive. You need to understand that climate, the climate of the game. So the climate shows that these kinds of people are struggling. The middle class is struggling, and it's a race to become the rare few, and that's interesting. It's interesting. We all use AI. We all use to get ahead and to stay relevant, basically. To stay relevant, it's not only to even get ahead. Most of us, majority of us, statistically, this will be the case. 80% of anybody that uses AI is not going to be really at an advantage. They're just going to be relevant. The ones that are at a significant advantage is anyone who is creating AI services, that is creating AI themselves and building and having data centers. These people are not just the elite. That's not the only word that I would use. They have superior control of, let's say, 1 million people. One person has control. So basically the government is nothing really. Obviously there's complexities that I'm not going to get into, and some things that I don't understand. The government still has its reasons and what makes it useful still in society in some ways, but for the majority, they are obsolete against these kinds of superior people. These people have a footing that they are able to gain insane amount of leverage that never existed before. Before, in the past, you never had a resource such as AI to be able to control, surveil, track people, track the nature, track the environment, and be able to make your own decisions solely just from your own opinions if you wanted to, which obviously is going to happen because it's human nature. Some people are going to definitely use AI in a bad way, definitely. And you're just trying to stay relevant. You are using AI just to be relevant, and that in return is causing these kinds of delusional people, because obviously there's delusional people that are elite, that are superior in this area. And the ones that are superior, elite, the ones that are controlling data centers, the ones that are in politicians, for example, that are having high influence of people that are powerful, are gaining all the benefit. I believe 90%, 99% of all of the benefits from AI, people are not getting. The superior ones are getting. So how can we ensure that the people in general get the benefits rather than the elite? I think one of the ways would be from having an open, superior AI. So you would need to be advancing at a superior pace compared to all of the other competitors, and you'd need it to be open source. And I think that was one of the mentalities that OpenAI went through when it was in its new startup phases, and it was a non-profit organization. And that's the kind of one of the solutions that would be, you know. So I'm curious to see what Elon Musk is doing now to find an alternative route to that open source AI that is superior. Hopefully what we do, our efforts are collective, that we talk about these kinds of things. And when we do talk about them, we're able to be united to do things that are better for us instead of them. That's the way it is. Life is very brutal. There is no, there's not so much, you might be considerate, you might be empathetic, you might be friendly, you might be united, you might be human-like, but there will definitely be people that are not thoughtful, that will destroy you, that will try to destroy your privacy, destroy your rights to live, maybe digital ID, maybe surveilling your bank account. You can't have the freedom to spend your money in peace, have a right to earn, have a right to live with your earnings, and have a right to have children. You know, maybe you want to have some privacy, maybe you want 5 children, maybe you want 2 children, maybe you don't want any children. But they put pressures in order for you to have children because it benefits them more than it benefits you. For you, you might have 20% benefit, for them they might have 80% benefit. So as long as you know this in life, you will be on a right path to helping humanity and helping people like yourself. It's not just I'm trying to help 100,000 people. I'm trying to help myself by helping other people to become more opinionated, become more talking about these topics, and as a return, as a result, we would be united. That's it. Hopefully you found something from this video. Thanks for watching. And please join in the conversation. Please make videos of what you would believe would be a path that would be better for us, you know. and would be anti, almost like a kryptonite to these superior people that are using this, the resource of AI. You don't need to be an expert. I believe anyone that has an opinion and experiences of something has some value, and collectively we have massive, massive value, way more valuable than whoever's superior. So that's what I would like to return. That's what I would like to bring back to light, bring back the people that the collectivity of human experience is way more valuable than one superior person, in my belief, currently. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.